staying with us here on the Urban Debate, we move on to topic number 2. Viewers, today, the Bombay High Court finally gave bail to Rhea Chakraborty. Exhaustive arguments were made. Some very crucial sections under the Narcotics Act were argued upon, deliberated upon, which is why the High Court also took some time to give its judgment on it. But in the end, the High Court decided that Rhea Chakraborty does have the right and deserves bail in this case. Now, the point of the conversation tonight is not going to be the Rhea drugs probe or the merits in those cases. But before we go to the actual debating angle, I do want to tell you what the Bombay High Court has said about her case. In the light of all the drama, all the noise, all the coverage and the debates that have happened targeting Rhea Chakraborty, I think it is necessary to now tonight tell the country what the Bombay High Court had to say about her role. The Bombay High Court said in its order, there is nothing to show that Rhea committed offence. Providing money is not financing of the activity. To the point that the Narcotics Control Bureau has been trying to portray, she is part of some big drug dealing racket here in Bollywood. The court says providing money is not financing of the activity. Harboring means providing food and shelter. She wasn't really harboring criminals in that sense. Giving money for drugs doesn't mean you're encouraging somebody's drug habit. NCB didn't find drugs from Rhea or even in Sushant's house. We have made this point here. Where will the case for NCB weaken? Because they didn't even find drugs on her. And that is the point that the court has also made. The court has gone on to say, Rhea is not guilty of illicit drugs trafficking. Doesn't seem at this point of time that she's part of some chain of drug dealers. And not a person who's likely to commit any offense while out on bail. So why shouldn't she be given bail? Think about it. Bombay High Court in its order says, don't believe Rhea will destroy evidence. And clearly, any which ways, NCB is satisfied with Rhea's interrogation. A very important point that again we've raised here on Mirror Now. The Narcotics Control Bureau, when they arrested Rhea Chakraborty, didn't even seek her custody. They said, we are satisfied with the questions we asked and the answers we got. So you can send her to jail, to judicial custody. We have no more questions for her. And so today, this decision was made to release Rhea Chakraborty. The investigation goes on. We don't know what the NCB may find tomorrow. That being said about this legal case, viewers, let's talk about another point. And this also stems from the High Court's order today. One of the arguments that was made in this case against Rhea Chakraborty by the other side was that celebrities who have a big reach and a big influence should be dealt with stricter. There should be stricter punishment for them in such cases. An argument that has now been dismissed by the court. And this, I believe, is extremely important for all the debates we have about celebrities either having the advantage or the disadvantage when it comes to legal trouble. The Narcotics Bureau said celebrities and role models should be treated harshly. The court said everybody is equal before law. The Narcotics Bureau said celebrities set an example for youngsters' mind. The court said no celebrity enjoys any special privilege before the court, and that's what matters. The Narcotics Bureau said we need to make an example out of cases involving celebs and role models, and the court had to turn around and say each case has to be decided on its own merits. Status of the accused is irrelevant. Should we take this message of the court and imbibe it in us as well? Are we sometimes too quick to jump and target and victimize those who are in public view? Or do they, in other cases, also stand to benefit because they are public figures and stars and have the influence, the money to turn around the law and use it as they deem fit? That's the conversation I want to have this evening. Let's say good evening to the panelists who are joining us right now. Nupur Mehta, an actor, joining us this evening. Geeta Luthra, senior advocate with the Supreme Court. Sucharita Tyagi, film critic, with us this evening. Mr. K.V. Sridhar, an ad guru, also joins us. But let me start with Nupur, you. And of course, a lot of this has to do with what we've seen unfold in the last couple of months. But this hasn't been the only case of a celebrity getting in trouble and targeted in such a manner. This court's message, shouldn't it be imbibed now in all of us? Everybody is equal before law.
Good evening, Tanvi. Absolutely. I'm in complete agreement with you. It should be imbibed in the rules of history. And I think equality is our fundamental right, is every human's right in this independent country. So I think every human should be treated on the basis of equality, and there should not be special or VVIP rules for anyone. I mean, I would just give you a small example. When the president of US, Mr. Barack Obama, now he's the ex-president, he used to go through the same security procedure as a common man. And he was very felicitated about it, and he was very proud of it, that he is treated as a common man when he's going through the security procedure, when he's exiting his country, or entering for that matter. So I think these kind of laws are very, very prominent in India also, and slowly, in this the government which has changed after the 2014, we've seen that the red lights on the cars have disappeared. People are treating each other with affection on an equality basis, on a uniform platform, and I think it's a very good sign. And I think even the investigating authorities, these big investigating authorities of a country like CBI, ED, NCB, they are treating even stars on the same platform. So this equation of equality is very necessary for even a common man's morale to get high, because probably a common man thinks that he's looked down upon and he's deteriorated in the society, and there's, sections of casteism, and people treat every individual differently. So I think these differences, it's time for a revolution, and it's time to cover up all these differences, these society norms and these civic norms. It's high time there should be a change in this entire movement.
Okay. But to the point that is being made, Sucharita, maybe you can come in on this, to the point that was made in the court and is repeatedly made otherwise as well, that influencers and celebrities, those in public view, should be held to higher standards and should be made an example of if they break the law.
I mean, who or what is a celebrity? How are you going to define celebrity? Is there a legal write-up that qualifies one to become a celebrity and then go to a chartered accountant and get special celebrity papers and pay special celebrity taxes? It's a strange conversation to even have, that celebrities need to be dealt with differently. I am a celebrity, you are a celebrity, sportsmen are celebrities. Are we only calling Bollywood people celebrities? Are we going to be like, all right, these are celebrity politicians, their rules and laws for them need to be different? Are we going to put that in paper? Are we going to put that in writing, that celebrities should? It's just, our courts are wasting their precious time debating non-issues. Should celebrities be dealt differently? It's really random. Whatever they're saying is right. Like, celebrities are people and they're paying the same taxes, they're living in the same cities, and they need to be dealt with like any other citizen of this country.
Okay, Geeta Luthra, do come in on this, because on one hand we have the court today which says that the law is the same, each case has to be decided on its own merits of the case and the actions, not who the person is. But we do have, a different set of rules and legislations in our country. For example, brand ambassadors, will be held accountable if they mislead the people. Now, is it right to compare the two? That you are saying that the celebrity should be held responsible if the real estate company they're advertising for, cheats people, but they shouldn't be held responsible in a tougher manner if they themselves are breaking the law.
Sorry, is it addressed to me?
Yes, it is. Geeta Luthra, the question was to you that if
Okay.
brand ambassadors and celebrities as brand ambassadors can be held accountable for what the product is about and if it cheats the consumer, where do you draw the line? Do you hold them to higher standards also when they themselves break the law?
See, I don't think there can be a higher standard. That's a standard of advertisement. And therefore, any advertisement which misleads would be questionable just because it's an advertisement. And when a celebrity or a person, who may be a outstanding sportsman or a outstanding person, say in dermatology, or any other figure in who would be taken by people due to their special status to be a little godly or someone whom they would want to follow, then clearly any misrepresentation is bad, whether by a common man, by a brand maker, or by a brand publisher. So that stands on a different footing. But if you are a celebrity, the question then is, would you get away just because you're a celebrity? Would you have lower standards or would you have more strict standards? And the fear in is actually for both. One, that there will be a less strict standard set for you, and the other fear is that because you are in the public eye, there is a more strict standard set for you. Now, the question then is, would the rule of law not be the same for everyone? वो कहते हैं राजा रंग कबीर. So everybody is equal before the law. Now, when you come to the actual facts, when you come into brass tacks, the fact is, despite the fact that rule of law is there's equality before the law, the fact is that sometimes you may look at high profile cases with a jaundiced eye. It may be because of media, it may be because of various factors. For example, the Supreme Court itself has said that cases of MLAs and MPs have to, particularly criminal cases, have to have special benches and decided expeditiously. One of the reasons may be that for their elections, the courts have laid down that if you are convicted of a case, unless there's some kind of stay, you would not have a right to stand for election. It is also to bring more probity and in the public system. It is also to prevention of to corruption in which is becoming rampant. So, to some extent, MPs, MLAs, and today or yesterday there was a Delhi High Court ruling also to this effect, which said that it is trying to expedite the case of MPs and MLAs. But that's not treating them separately, that's expediting it for reasons that there is an apprehension of abuse by people in power or delay by people in power, and also the repercussions of false implication of people in power, just so that their opponent can get a march over them. So for all reasons, they are put out as a class that they may be decided expeditiously. Now the question then is, do I mean, you take, say, Sanjay Dutt's case or Salman Khan's case or Manu Sharma's case. For example, one of the thoughts that comes to my mind is Sanjay Dutt and Manu Sharma, when they were let off a little earlier, which every person has a right according to jail rules, if their conduct has been good and they are entitled to some remissions for good behavior, it raises eyebrows. It can't raise eyebrows just because they are a celebrity, because this is their right. Now, on the other hand, they may, just because of their status or their media coverage or the loss that is coming to them, they may actually get a hearing sooner. They may get a longer hearing. Now, there will be judges who will say, sorry, please stand in the queue. You are not special. But if they remain in the queue, then sometimes they say, sorry, this is this heinous case. How can you not expeditiously decide it? So the question is, everyone has to tread carefully when it's the case of a celebrity or a person in the public eye or in the eye of social media. And the courts, while they have to maintain rule of law, while they have to keep equality before the law, have also to take care that they do not get biased or influenced. But this argument, which was made, according to me, which has risen to this discussion, do they have a special status? Do they have to be especially careful? Are they role models? This argument does not have any legs to stand on.
Okay, fair enough. Let me take up from that point that you raised, because this was not just the argument that was made in court, Mr. K.V. Sridhar. This has been an argument that's been made by many in the last 2 months, especially since this entire Sushant Rhea case exploded, that those in public eye, especially Bollywood stars, of any kind, have to be dealt with strictly. They are role models, they are influencers, and if they are caught in a drug case, an example has to be set so the youngsters of this country don't get misled. Do you buy that argument?
No, I don't buy that argument. I think law is same for everyone, and then people have to be treated equally. So there are two parts to this entire argument. One is the legal part, which the courts have settled that in. The second part is the morality of it. So when you talk about celebrities or any public figure, who's a celebrity or who has the power to influence the other people, so they have an obligation, if they want to uphold the values, which they have an obligation and responsibility. As somebody said, success brings in a lot more responsibility than anything else. Then morally, ethically, whether you want to do certain things or behave in certain way or set certain bad examples to people, you are not only destroying your own self as a celebrity or an influencer, you are also destroying a lot more other role models and also a generation of people on whom you have the influence. So therefore, there are two parts. We have seen both of them, in action, before with celebrities. We have got, people like Amitabh Bachchan, Virat Kohli withdrew from Pepsi because of the legal issues, not because of the legal issues, because of ethics and morals. They upheld their own values and morals, and then they said, we will not do advertising. In similar way, there are many stars, who have refused to do advertising for Fair and Lovely because of personal ethics. Law does not make any difference there, because anybody can advertise, a product which has been made. So it is not about the product, anybody can do it. A model can do it, some other celebrity can do it, but up to the individual celebrities, to really draw a line between what is legal and what is moral. And then good people, people who always become legends and icons, always treaded that into the area of morality, and then they drew the line very perfectly and then stand on the other side. Because it's very difficult uh, to destroy yourself if you put a wrong foot on the other side of the law. So that's the point which celebrities needs to ponder. Legally they're allowed to do. Anybody else allowed to do? If they're allowed to do, fine. Legally, nobody is allowed to do, and then if they do, they have to face the music. So both they are doing it
Yeah.
with their all awareness. In the same way, you must be aware of your own stature, your own success, and how to keep that success for a longer time is what makes them different from others. So that is a moral issue which no courts can enforce, and then no forums can, or no media can actually ask them or trail them on that. So it is up to individuals to do that, whether they are cricket stars,
But Mr.
industrialists.
Sridhar, that moral issue I understand, correct. But that moral issue perhaps comes when you endorse a product or a service or a kind of lifestyle or advertise about it. But when it's about you privately, personally leading your life, you're just as any human, bound to break rules or laws, and you should be punished for that. But can you be punished differently for it?
Not how can you punish them differently? Correct? Because I killed a rich man, it won't become lesser crime or more crime vis-a-vis killing a poorer man. Correct? So it's not, law is same for everyone. That's the point, whole point of justice, right? And then you can't treat them differently, just because they have money and then they have other powers. Legally, whatever is applicable, it should be equal to everyone. So legality, I mean, aspects of spoken, legally nothing one can do, and then whatever it is, and then only thing which people can do is to really push the government to change or amend the rules. And in this kind of cases, equality and then justice for everyone, I don't think any country can ever change that.
Okay, now let me take that point further, because why I asked that question is, Sucharita, we are seeing that happen. Many would say that in Rhea's case, to say so, because of the national attention, because of the conversations and the noise around it, because people started saying that they need to be held accountable, there was a pressure. There was a pressure to rush and investigate. There was a pressure to show you found something. There was a pressure to grill, to grill her for long hours, for many, many days, and a pressure to perhaps even arrest her when you didn't even need to ask her any more questions. Isn't that then also part of this narrative that is being built, that celebrities or stars or people in public, who are public figures, need to be held to higher standards?
Everybody needs to be held to higher standards than we are holding people in this country right now. But celebrities cannot be held to a different standard by the law. They need to hold themselves to a higher standard. They need to decide what kind of films they are doing, what kind of messages that they are sending out to people. Like, one of the panelists just said that Mr. Bachchan, Virat Kohli, they decided to not endorse products that they didn't believe in and products that they thought were harmful. Similarly, it's on celebrities to hold themselves to a higher standard. This is not a classroom. There is no teacher. There's no class monitors that are expected to stand in front of everybody and then be the teacher's pet. We are adults in a democratic country, all doing our jobs, our vocations, paying our taxes, living as responsible citizens. The law cannot hold. I mean, how are you going to define what is a celebrity and what is not a celebrity? If I have 2 million Instagram followers, am I a celebrity? How do you know how much money I have? If I pay a certain amount of tax, if I fall in a certain amount of tax bracket, am I a celebrity? Most of the people who pay, who misuse the law and who find loopholes and who get away with crimes that they shouldn't get away with are rich people. Are we going to hold rich people to a different standard? Are we going to have separate laws written for somebody who's paid this much tax in the last quarter of the year? So to even start that conversation that because you're a celebrity we're going to hold you to a different standard and you'll have to pay more dearly than other people is ridiculous. In fact, it should be the other way around. We need to ensure that just because someone's a celebrity and someone's done a crime and someone's on the wrong side of the law, they don't get away with it easier because they have the money and they have the means to find workarounds and find the corrupt people in the system and get their way. So it's the other way around. In this whole circus, in this whole fiasco that we've been party to, because all of us are also hungry for drama, for action, and watching all of this go on with poor Rhea Chakraborty is just, who are these people who were putting the pressure? We need to ask that question instead. Who are these people? Where is the pressure coming from? And whose purpose is it serving eventually? Who's benefiting out of this mindless mumbo jumbo of everything that we've witnessed over the last couple of months? That's really the question to ask. But does the normal, regular film watching Sushant Singh Rajput fan really want Rhea to be in jail for everything that's happened? I mean, she also has lost a loved one. This is a big tragedy in her life. We've lost all empathy. We've lost all humanity in the last few months, what has happened. So what we need to ask is, who are the people? Where is the pressure coming from to hold a celebrity accountable? And what level of celebrity are we talking? Like, who should be held more accountable? Who should be held less accountable? Is only Bollywood here in this akhada? Are we
Well, I'll
also
tell you
going to go
something.
to those politicians?
If there is ever to be a serious conversation about who should be held more accountable, I would say the politicians need to be held more accountable. I would say the policy makers and the decision makers in our country need to be held more responsible. And would one look at their own criminal record and the freedom that they get and the way they get away for years and years together with criminal cases against them shows you how this entire thing is completely distorted. Which is where I would come in and say that yes, you are right. Who is it who's been creating this pressure? We're all equally responsible. Those who deliver the noise, those who willingly, lovingly consume the noise without really thinking about who's the one who's becoming collateral damage of this noise. Yes, we are all equally responsible for it. But if we have to have a serious conversation about who should be held to higher moral standards, the policy makers maybe, the decision makers of our country, those who make the rules, those who have power to change the rules and to implement these rules. Unfortunately, in our country, a third of all our members of parliament have serious criminal charges against them. That being said, Geeta Luthra, I want to just read out what the NCB chief, Mr. Rakesh Asthana, who personally flew down to Mumbai during this case to take a look at what was happening, the progress of the case, was quoted as saying that people like Rhea are role models and youngsters look up to them. They cannot be condoned. We have to make examples of them to send a message of deterrence to others. When those in law enforcement agencies begin to believe this and think like this, should we be a little concerned, Geeta Luthra?
We should be very, very concerned. We are becoming those who believe in mob lynching, and those in power have to be doubly careful of every. So there are two thoughts that I come away with on this. One, that if you are a public figure, you owe to yourself then to carry yourself and to behave in a manner that is exemplary, because you are setting higher standards for yourself or high standards for yourself. There's no such thing as higher standards, but a high standard for yourself. So this is one aspect, that's a self-regulated behavior. Whatever you may do, however you may do, that's your conduct. The other aspect is that those who are in positions of responsibility have to weigh every word. They cannot be partisan to a mob lynching. They cannot be partisan to a behavior which is saying, we do not in India believe in equality before the law. We do not in India believe in the rule of law. We believe that there are unequals and there are different standards. I'm sorry, that will not do, and that's not what our country is supposed to be doing. And we would be setting a very sad example if we are quoted even elsewhere in the world that we say a person's a celebrity. Therefore, we will put stricter standards for them. The standard is the same for any human being, any person who is answerable before the law. But most important, I feel, is that those in positions of authority, those who are members of investigative agency, should realize that liberty of a human being is the most important. While you do a trial, while you do an investigation, you as a responsible officer should weigh every word that you say, lest it sends a wrong message to members of the public who may be gullible and who may actually start believing what you say. That's what's, I think, very important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Nupur, would you want to add to this? The same question to you as well. Is it concerning when law enforcement agencies and those who lead them start saying this? It's okay for, common man to say, well, celebrities, they enjoy so much, they have so many advantages, they get away with so much in these days. All legal cases of Sanjay Dutt and Salman Khan, they got the advantage of it. But when law enforcement agencies start believing that stars need to be treated differently, is it a big concern?
Of course, it's a matter of concern. I think everybody should be treated equally. And, I'm in complete agreement with what Madam Geeta Luthra said, that liberty of the human is at the utmost priority. That's the matter of concern. I think, in India, and India has known to be a very jugadu country. This is the exact word from the dictionary that everybody says, jugad chalta hai India mein. But now, I think the time has come, we're living in 2020 and in the 21st century, and now the time has come that this jugaad, which is called manipulation, is not going to, enforce in the territory of India, because you might be a celebrity. And who is a celebrity, Tanvi? Celebrity is anybody who's a public figure, who comes in the public domain. He has role model, he's as a role model, and he's been followed by people. He becomes a national icon and an international icon. He gets famous or he gets defamed. He gets famous or infamous. So it depends. What kind of fame he has and what kind of celebrity status that he's holding. So, and people would love to follow these kind of so-called celebrities in our country. So I think they should not be given any special status, like you just said, people like Salman Khan or the A-listers. The law should be just same for everybody, because the punishment should be the same for every human, whether it's and there is, I don't think so we should call common man aam aadmi. Humans are equal. They have equal rights in the terms of law, in the terms of fundamental rights, in the terms of a constitution, in the terms of a democracy, in terms of secularism. I think every human in our country should just have equal rights. That is the priority, and that should be mandatory.
No, that I agree with you. But such is the way system works in our country, that different people are treated very differently basis who you are, where you come from, what you do, and what your background is, unfortunately. And now it's come to the point where there are different benchmarks even for the celebrities from Bollywood. Is it Bollywood specific, Mr. Sridhar? Is there merit to the fact that when people say that Bollywood celebrities and stars have just become soft targets?
Yes, they are, because they're in the glamour world. And then why we don't talk about people in other businesses and other line of functions? Don't they use drugs, and don't they abuse drugs? Even if there is a case against them, no media will pick it up. Even they are millionaires. industrialists, journalists, creative field guys, musicians, you name it, there is corruption is there everywhere, crime is there everywhere, and everybody should be treated equal. Just because it has got cricketers and film actors in our country, are treated like gods, and then therefore people want expect quite a lot from them, and that's the reason why the glamour and glitter which comes to them. The flip side of that is you become a soft target for everything. So that's the reason why you must understand, the success and then the role which you are playing, and then where people place you and what do they expect from you. So therefore, your behavior you need to alter in order to keep that success. If you decide to be a bad boy, nobody can do anything. You go to jail, sit there for a couple of years, you come back, and then go ahead and then do what you want to do, like any other criminals do. You just happen to be a film star or happen to be a cricketer. But it is up to people to make a decision. It is not up to the law or law enforcement guys. This is very sad. We criticize all the panchayat guys who lynch Dalits in the villages, and then we are actually the same people. But today are saying that we should have different punishment and stringent punishment for celebrities because they are rich and then they are glamorous and then they have name and fame. So it is the same whether it is Dalit or whether you are a richest person. And then we have angst against all the people who fled the country after doing economic offences to the tune of 20,000 crores, 30,000 crores, 40,000 crores. And somebody who offends,
Right.
2 crores, but the SEBI will say the same thing, correct? But people need to actually do what they destroyed, their career, their legacies, and everything. So it is up to the
Oh
individuals
yes, absolutely. In fact,
make the
if there had to be a conversation about stricter punishment, it should be those who cheat our system and take away thousands of crores of money from our system. They could be politicians, they could be industrialists, but to say that is somebody who may have paid money to source some drugs for somebody she was in a relationship with, that person should not even be given bail. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that argument. I am glad that the court actually saw no merit in that argument and outright dismissed it. I am glad the court also saw merit in giving bail to Rhea Chakraborty. We will have to wait and watch to see what the NCP's final case is against her. But so far, the court isn't convinced by the argument that she is running some big drug ring within Bollywood, sourcing and supplying at large commercial levels. There are bigger drug lords, genuinely those whose business is to source and sell harmful, dangerous drugs in our country. The reason the Narcotics Control Bureau was set up in our country was exactly to deal with that. With these drug rings, smugglers, drug traffickers, who deal with transactions in crores and crores of rupees, who distribute these drugs to little children in our schools, outside our schools, in the colleges, and whose only interest is to make money. The entire bureau and the entire Act for Narcotics Control was set up to crack down on that. And I'm glad that the court also saw merit in that to say, well, even if you say this section is non-bailable, it really depends on what the offense is. Can it be used and can it be invoked to put somebody behind bars on whom you've not even found the drugs or any serious direct connection of a massive commercial drug dealing link? The court believes not, which is why she's been granted bail today. Thank you to our panelists for joining us on this conversation. We continue to track this case, but suffice to say, one debate should be settled tonight. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. What matters is what you do and your action. And if you break the law, then you will be treated accordingly on the merits of your case, not because you're a Bollywood celebrity or a big industrialist or a politician. Thank you for joining us on this debate. Well, very quickly, let me also recap for you in case you join us later what really happened in the courts today, where Rhea Chakraborty finally walked out of the jail 28 days after her arrest, but her brother Shouvik will remain in jail. Along with Rhea, Sushant's house manager Samuel Miranda, staff member Dipesh Sawant were also granted bail. Alleged drug peddler Basit's bail plea has been rejected along with Shouvik Chakraborty, and Shouvik's bail in fact has been rejected because the court is of the view over there that he is in touch with different drug dealers. That's what's been presented to the court by the NCB, and he seems to be an important link in the entire chain of drug dealers, which is why his bail has been rejected, unlike Rhea Chakraborty. Sandhya has been tracking those cases for us. Sandhya, let's talk about why, while Rhea is out, her brother is still in jail.
Tanvi, to understand the difference between these two cases, it all starts from NCB's investigation and how these cases, the allegations as far as Rhea and Shouvik are concerned, were distinguished from each other. So NCB's case against Rhea Chakraborty was that how she procured and purchased drugs for Sushant Singh Rajput with the help of his staff, Samuel Miranda and Dipesh Sawant. This means that NCB said, NCB nowhere mentioned that she personally was connected with any of the drug peddlers. And this is how her case, the allegations against her are different from those of Shouvik Chakraborty. So Shouvik Chakraborty is facing the allegation that he used to procure and purchase drugs for Sushant from different drug peddlers. And that's why court is of the view, a court has observed that it looks like an NCB as of now has sufficient evidence to show that he actually is a link and an important link in a chain of drug dealers. So that's that one thing which actually prevented court from granting him bail. Now, another point of difference here is the commercial quantity part of drug activity. So as far as Rhea is concerned, now if we talk about the NDPS Act, whether it's section 27A, whether it's 29, 8C, all these sections talking about illicit trafficking, conspiring, procuring, consuming, providing drugs, all these sections are actually have an important aspect of drug activity within drug activity with a commercial quantity angle. So as far as Rhea's case is concerned, Bombay High Court noticed that because NCB did not recover any drug from either Sushant's place or Rhea's place, NCB doesn't really have any evidence to show that Rhea was involved in drug related activity which were of commercial quantity. At best, and this is what the court order says, Tanvi, that at best NCB has the evidence to support and suggest that Rhea was involved in drug related activities, but whether or not those were of commercial quantity, no proof to establish that. But this is again a point where Shouvik's case is different, Tanvi, because court observed that Shouvik Chakraborty was related with other drug peddlers, and one of the arrested accused in the case, Anuj Keshwani, from whom NCB actually recovered commercial quantity drug, was connected with Shouvik Chakraborty. That's why Shouvik cannot be given the benefit of doubt that he was involved in drug-related activity, but the commercial quantity part is not established. That's why he did not walk out of jail today, but Rhea did. So these 2 points were the major point of difference here. Tanvi.
Okay. All right, Sandhya, thanks so much for really bringing out those details. Important for people to understand why, while the sister is out, the brother is still in jail. Thanks so much for that. Now, very quickly, let me also bring you the Sushant's family side of the story as well. After the report emerged that AIIMS Forensic Board has ruled out murder or poisoning, any kind of malafide in Sushant's suicide case, Sushant's family lawyer today came out to say that they have now written to the CBI on behalf of the family seeking for a new forensic team. They are refusing to accept what the AIIMS board has found, and they now want a new team to look into this case. Listen in to Vikas Singh.
We on behalf of the family have written to the CBI director to constitute a fresh forensic team to look into the reports prepared by the Cooper Hospital, and also to give an opinion as to whether the opinion given by the Cooper Hospital can be sustained or not, or whether there are some infirmities in that report, or whether the death can be said by hanging or it can be said to be murder, that is death by strangulation. Suicide is a question which only the CBI could have taken, and this AIIMS team had no right whatsoever to give any comment that it is a case of suicide and not a case of murder.
Time for quick break, but a very big story lined up on the other side. Stay with me here on the Urban Debate.